We wanted to do this documentary so people wouldn't have to always stare and take pictures, because we don't like when they take pictures, so they just knew who we are and stuff.
Something truly heartbreaking has rocked Abby and Brittany's lives, a shocking twist that fans never saw coming. Abby's husband, Josh, has been cleared of paternity allegations, but the chaos is far from over. As Brittany tries to lead her own life, Abby and Josh find themselves facing challenges that keep getting more intense. Let us dive in, because the real twist is still to come. And it might just change everything. DNA clears. Josh, Abby, and Brittany face new challenges. In a turn of events that's as dramatic as it is confusing, Abby's husband managed to emerge victorious from a legal fight over a child's paternity. And no, this isn't the plot of a soap opera. Despite a lawsuit naming him as the alleged father, some good old DNA testing proved otherwise. He isn't the dad. But don't be fooled. Even though the legal drama might be over, the complexities of their relationship still keep their life anything but simple. Just when they thought it was over, a new twist emerged, one that could change everything. Even when the legal matters settled, they didn't exactly get a free pass back to their quiet life. The public has been eating this up like it's a reality show, which it very well could become. No official statements from the couple, no dramatic interviews, just the lingering tension of whether this could all come crashing down. And of course, there's her sister, trying to live her own life while being dragged through the mess. Can you imagine trying to date with all this going on?
We learned how to parallel park and 90-degree parking.
The paternity case was a storm that pulled in not only Abby and her husband, but her sister too. His ex-wife decided to file a claim against him, stating that he could be the father of her youngest daughter who was born after they separated. It's messy. Her ex-wife's current partner was also in the mix, and both men were dragged into taking DNA tests. The whole situation played out in the public eye, with everyone speculating on what was going on behind closed doors. People are still talking. Some think the ex-wife only brought up the paternity issue to stir up trouble now that he has moved on with Abby. Others believe there was genuine confusion and that she was just trying to find out the truth for her daughter's sake. Either way, the outcome has shifted the dynamics between everyone involved. Abby and her husband are moving forward, and the ex-wife now knows her partner is the father, but there's no way all of this drama hasn't left some scars. They became household names after their appearances on television, which gave the world an intimate look at their lives. From sharing a single body to developing two very distinct personalities, Abby and her sister have always emphasized their individuality despite their physical connection. And while they did share aspects of their life on camera, they were very careful about what was shown and what remained private. Even as teenagers, they knew where to draw the line. Their reality show showcased them as they navigated the transition into adulthood, but it was always done on their terms. This experience of being conjoined hasn't just shaped their personal lives, it's affected every part of their existence. From the basic physical coordination needed to live their daily lives to the emotional resilience required to deal with public scrutiny, they've faced challenges that most people wouldn't even know where to begin addressing. And yet, despite all of that, they've managed to carve out careers, build relationships, and lead lives that are full of purpose.
Radio and defogger.
And the gas and the brake.
And the,
For Abby, marrying her husband was a testament to her ability to live her own life despite the connection she shared with her sister. The wedding wasn't just about love, it was also about independence. It symbolized Abby's desire to be seen as her own person, even while sharing her body with her sister. It's a balancing act, maintaining the bond with her sister while building a new one with her husband. It's not something people can easily understand. The logistics of their marriage were debated endlessly online, with people offering opinions on everything from their wedding attire to their future plans for having children. But the truth is, it's nobody's business but theirs. Abby and her husband are focused on making their marriage work. They faced legal battles, public scrutiny, and logistical challenges that would have broken most people, but they're still standing. Her sister, too, is carving out her own life, choosing to stay single for now and concentrate on her career. She's always been supportive of Abby, even when it means being physically present during intimate moments that would typically be private. It's the kind of sacrifice that only someone in their unique situation could understand. With the paternity drama behind them, Abby and Josh move forward while Brittany searches for her own path. Thriving together while pursuing separate dreams. The bond between Abby and her sister is unbreakable, but it doesn't mean they don't have their own dreams and aspirations. Her sister has said in interviews that she wants to travel more and experience life in her own way. She's supportive of Abby's marriage, but she's also determined to make sure her own life doesn't just become an extension of her sister's. It's a delicate balance, being supportive without losing herself in the process. It's not just about surviving, it's about thriving. They have shown that you can live a fulfilling life even under the most extraordinary circumstances. And now, as Abby and her husband look to the future, they're doing so with the hope that they can build something lasting, something that can withstand the challenges that come their way. Whether it's dealing with the fallout from a lawsuit, managing public expectations, or just trying to have a quiet night at home, they're in it together. And that's what matters. As they move forward, one can't help but wonder what's next for Abby and her sister. Will they continue teaching? Will they have children? Will her sister find a partner of her own? These are questions only they can answer, and they've made it clear that they'll do so on their own terms. They've faced judgment, curiosity, and misunderstanding, but they've always stayed true to themselves. Their story is one of resilience, love, and the unbreakable bond between two sisters who just happen to share a body.
I like 4th and 5th grade because I think they're more independent, and their personalities are like starting to come out a lot more, and I think that's really fun.
Abby, her sister, and her husband aren't interested in fitting into anyone else's idea of what their lives should look like. They're writing their own story, one chapter at a time, and they're doing it with a strength that's nothing short of inspiring. Whether the public ever fully understands their lives or not, it doesn't really matter. What matters is that they're happy, they're together, and they're ready for whatever comes next. The planning before they even set foot on campus was intense. College is stressful enough without having to work out the logistics of how two people, who happen to share a body, are going to navigate dorm life. Abby and her sister, along with the university, had to think ahead, modifying their dorm and making sure things were set up for them to live comfortably. The school was supportive, no doubt, but there's a lot more to it than just putting up a few railings or rearranging some furniture. Despite all the prep work, they managed to throw themselves into college life with everything they had. They joined extracurriculars, made friends, and got involved, all while constantly being the center of attention. Every time they walked into a new classroom or went to a campus event, there were stares, whispers, and questions. They could have just kept to themselves, but instead they took the time to educate people. They wanted to be known for who they were, not just for the uniqueness of their situation. That takes guts. One of the trickier aspects of college? Money. Who pays what when you've got two minds in one body? They each pursued their own degree, but they were only taking up one seat in the lecture hall. After a lot of back and forth, they ended up paying one tuition but two registration fees, a compromise that made sense given their unique situation. It wasn't just about the money, though. It was a reminder that nothing about their experience was simple or straightforward. Every decision, every little thing that most people don't even think about had to be discussed, adapted, and worked out. And then there was the social aspect. Imagine moving into a new environment where suddenly no one knows you. It's exciting, but also nerve-wracking, especially when everyone you meet is trying to figure out how you do, well, anything. They knew they were bound to draw attention, but they didn't let that stop them from enjoying everything college had to offer. They took part in events, made genuine friendships, and showed that while their life might be different, they were just as eager as anyone else to have the full college experience. Their openness helped break down barriers. People started seeing them for who they were, not just for their condition. The college also pushed them towards a new level of independence. Living on campus, making decisions for themselves, navigating life without their parents always around, it all helped them grow. They had to learn how to balance being two individuals with having one body, a juggling act that most people can't even begin to imagine.
If my stomach hurts, it hurts right here, and I can't feel this. Like, I can't feel anything.
Bethel University wasn't just about academics for them, it was a crash course in independence, problem solving, and resilience. Their time at Bethel wasn't perfect, it was full of challenges that most people don't face, mixed with moments of triumph that were all the sweeter because of what they overcame. Abby and her sister left college not just with the degrees, but with a deeper sense of who they were and what they could handle. It prepared them for their next big adventure, becoming teachers. Their college journey was about more than just education. It was about proving to themselves, and maybe even to the world, that they could thrive in an environment that wasn't built with them in mind. They didn't just survive college, they found ways to adapt, to flourish, and to show everyone around them that being different doesn't mean being less capable. They were determined to write their own story, and that's exactly what they did. Abby and Brittany proved their strength in college, but now new choices will test them like never before. Abby and Brittany's journey of resilience and compromise. Bethel University offered a unique set of experiences that allowed them to test their limits. Their daily life involved constant adjustments and compromise, not just between themselves, but with the world around them. Every aspect of college, from getting dressed in the morning to choosing which classes to take, was a negotiation, a balancing act of individuality within a shared existence. It wasn't just about learning history or biology, it was about learning how to navigate life as two distinct people living in one body. Their classes presented another challenge. Picture trying to write notes, share a laptop, or take turns typing up assignments while maintaining a coherent workflow. They had different interests and strengths. Sometimes they agreed on how to tackle a project, and sometimes they didn't. It wasn't just about passing classes, it was about figuring out how to blend their approaches to reach a common goal. They learned to manage disagreements without letting them affect their performance or, more importantly, their relationship. Balancing their separate identities while working on shared assignments required patience and constant communication. It was exhausting at times, but it also made them stronger. Campus events, too, were full of unique dynamics. They couldn't just decide to go to a party or an event like other students. They both had to agree on the plan. It might sound simple, but think about it. Two different personalities wanting to do different things and yet physically needing to stay together. Sometimes one of them would be in the mood for a campus movie night while the other wanted to study or just have some alone time, a luxury that simply didn't exist for them. Finding ways to compromise in social situations became an art form. It wasn't always about both of them getting exactly what they wanted. Often it was about finding something that worked well enough for both. It's one thing to be stared at in passing, but another to live day in and day out under constant curiosity. New classmates, new professors, students from other parts of campus, everyone seemed to have questions. Abby and her sister would have ignored it, but they chose to address it head on. They made it a point to speak openly about their condition, to demystify it and help others understand that, despite appearances, they were just trying to live a normal life. It was tiring to always have to explain themselves, but it also created opportunities to connect with others on a deeper level. By sharing their story, they encouraged others to see beyond the physical and recognize their ambitions, dreams, and struggles as individuals. Their resilience became an inspiration, even if they never set out to be role models. Students, faculty, and even people outside the university admired how they managed the complexities of their situation. They did not shy away from difficult moments. They weren't interested in sugarcoating their experience. When things were tough, they faced them together, but they didn't pretend everything was always fine. They weren't afraid to show vulnerability, and that honesty resonated with many of those around them. Their determination to succeed and adapt wasn't about trying to be heroes, it was simply about wanting to be treated like everyone else, with the same rights to education, social experiences, and personal growth. Academics were another hurdle that required careful planning. Each semester they had to consider what courses to take, how to organize their schedule, and how to balance their individual interests while ensuring they could manage their shared physical workload. It wasn't just about meeting the academic requirements. It was about finding a path that allowed both of them to feel fulfilled. There were times when one of them was more interested in a particular subject than the other, but they learned to compromise.
I hate getting my nails done. I just hate it. So it was definitely a compromise thing because Brittany doesn't like it and I do and Kayla does. So we did it.
Abby might have been more enthusiastic about a biology course while her sister preferred literature, but they took turns leaning into each other's passions. They even learned to appreciate subjects they weren't initially excited about because of how much it meant to the other. Living on campus meant communal bathrooms, shared dorm spaces, and very little alone time. While most college students can close their door and be alone for a while, Abby and her sister had to find ways to respect each other's need for mental space, even if they could never have physical solitude. It was about creating boundaries, even if those boundaries were invisible. They learned to recognize when the other needed a moment to think quietly, to listen to music, or simply not engage. It took an immense amount of empathy and understanding, skills that are hard for most people to master, but essential for them. One of the most impressive parts of their journey was how they handled the expectations placed upon them. People often assumed they couldn't handle certain activities, but Abby and her sister were determined to challenge those assumptions. They joined study groups, attended campus events, and even participated in sports when they could. It wasn't just about proving others wrong, it was about showing themselves that they could do it. They knew that people would always be watching, always curious, but they chose to live openly rather than let the weight of others' expectations hold them back. The decision to become teachers was rooted in their college experience. They saw education as a way to give back, to inspire others the way they had been inspired by their own teachers and professors. Teaching presented its own set of challenges. How would they navigate a classroom? How would they be perceived by students? But if college had taught them anything, it was that they were more than capable of handling whatever came their way. They had spent years adapting to new situations, answering questions, and breaking down barriers. Teaching was simply the next step in sharing their lives and experiences in a meaningful way. Their journey through Bethel University was full of highs and lows. There were moments of laughter, like when they managed to navigate a particularly crowded campus event without getting separated in the chaos. There were moments of frustration, like when they had to advocate for accommodations that others took for granted, and there were moments of triumph, like when they both walked across the stage at graduation, each receiving their diploma, a testament to the hard work and perseverance that had brought them to that point. Do you think Brittany will ever find her own path, or is she destined to always be part of Abby's story? Tell us what you think, and don't forget to like and subscribe for more.